here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here for part 19 in my Preparedness Testimonies series. And what these are real life stories that people have shared with me so that I can read them to you in these videos like this. They usually consist of either how people went about getting themselves in a better situation without having to spend an arm and a leg and doing it on a budget, or how being more prepared, having a food storage or having a garden or having some off-grid ways of doing things in the events of power outages and more, how being more prepared got them through some difficult times, including job losses and major illnesses. So before I start reading, I want to say this person did not send me any images to add in. So if I add any images, it's going to be just to add some interest to the video. It'll either be images of my own from our own place and what I do, or that which I find online that suits the particular topic I'm covering at the moment. So let's get to this testimony. My favorite Christmas was when I was 8 years old in 1977. Was also when I learned the kernel of truth that preparedness is actually a way of life and mindset, and not just accumulated food and equipment alone. My family was always scattered except for this one Christmas. My mom's older brother was military, always getting transferred overseas, and her older sister lived across country. But we lived only 3 hours away from my mom's parents' house, so visited on a regular basis. My daddy had 4 brothers, 2 in military stationed overseas, and 2 lived pretty close, like us, to their mom, which lived on the other side of the same town of my other grandparents. So my little family would spend our 5-day Christmas vacation every year staying at mom's folks' house and bouncing back and forth between both families that lived close enough to congregate even for just a few hours. My dad said with a wink and a smile that our bouncing gave a bit of pleasant chaos and spark to our grandparents' dull, empty nester retirement routines. They never knew when we'd pop in or how long we'd stay, so they got some practice to still be on their toes and like it. And popping in unexpectedly on his 2 local brothers was payback. Apparently, Daddy spoke truth because no one ever turned us away. One of my first unknowing lessons in prepping. This particular Christmas, though, every family member was going to get to come home for Christmas for the first time since before I was born. But we did not know that from the enlisted members until 3 days before Christmas. Even my dad's divorced dad and new wife were graciously embraced to attend this momentous occasion of family congregation in his estranged ex-wife's home. The daughters-in-law always helped prepare during holidays, and my mom and 2 aunts immediately freaked out over trying to figure out how to stretch the holiday menus plus daily meals on such short notice for 20 last-minute added guests for 1 week. They had only planned for the regular yearly 13 attendees. But both my grandmothers proclaimed that there would be peace in their family homes that they maintained no matter what. They took charge, went into their pantries, and had everything covered within a few hours, on the fly without going to the grocery store. Love that. Between their normal old-fashioned living styles, which we call prepping nowadays, and their knowledge of cooking from basic ingredients and making it taste good, they promoted peace, stability, and no panic. It also took a bit more time in the kitchen for the women, plus extra aunts and us grandgirls helping to make it happen. But we got to enjoy camaraderie together, as well as utilizing our eyes in the back of our heads and quick stepping dance moves to wield our utensils on the male species knuckles, trying to steal bites behind our backs. Obviously, both my grandmothers had open kitchens so girls could participate in boys' conversations and vice versa. My other gazillion lessons in preparedness. God granted me the opportunity to see in person the relatives I'd only seen pictures of and heard stories about. I got to finally meet the many cousins I was told I had, but thought they were just fairy tales. But they were actually living flesh and really fun. I also got to see all my family all dressed up in their Sunday best, including my uncles in their dress uniforms that they brought just for the family pictures. They also brought their fatigues to show off to all us kids that were living G.I. Joes. Silly, but did impact all of the kids and unintentionally set the stage for the lessons to be learned that Christmas. I also saw the few regular local family tensions dissipate that Christmas, only because of both my grandmother's normal pantries, aka preps, knowledge and adaptability skills to be able to make a positive stance for good family interactions in a short time frame under young women's duress and others unfamiliar cause not local and not in the know. My grandmother's understanding of not only filling bellies, which works, but doing so that tastes delicious and festive really calms the hangry to enable engaging positive human interactions to enjoy contact and problem solving. But the women's rescue was greatly enabled by the men in their lives providing the tools and supplies for their efforts. I saw my family's men hunt and spend their paychecks on groceries at the women's discretion, not asking any questions as long as they got a good tasty meal. I also saw where not necessarily personal prepper actions, but community mindset of dealing with unforeseen circumstances on the fly can result in positive outcomes. That was promoted in my family after that Christmas. Those that disagreed could still meet in the middle and love each other, promote each other, but still call out and not tolerate each other's BS. It was the best Christmas ever for me. The one and only time all members of both sides of my family got together at the same time on grateful, cheerful, agree to disagree terms, which I did see set a different tone for future tolerance and appreciation for moments of individual contacts with family that I experienced as a child and growing up, even when I strained by distance within my extended family. Touch and go, we can still make things work together if we need to. To finalize the point of my testimony, I have personally experienced the fact that there are more ingredients to preparedness than pantry and equipment. God is multifaceted, and we are all made in His image. All of my family are not godly, but they all work together better from that Christmas get-together forward. They found grace, but not excuses. Love, but not tolerance of evil ways. And the expectance of pulling some of the weight of living together and for themselves. And above all, it was weird that both of my grandmothers separately told us all that same Christmas, if you don't have anything positive to contribute, keep your mouth shut and don't even think about pulling from the pool. We do love you, and God bless your personal journey. We will help you when actually necessary, but won't allow you to take advantage or drag anyone else down. Maybe they were both inspired by God to deliver that message by not just words, but also by their actions. Or Grandpa liked to say afterwards that the old ladies considered to take advantage of a full schoolhouse and only give the reminder lesson once. All of my family members talked years after that, admitting that it was the most totally awesome family get-together we'd ever had. I honestly believe that the stress of last-minute adaptability outside of the abilities of the younger women would have led to a disastrous event, but the two matriarchs and two patriarchs came together to help educate while they led the way to wholesome, festive fun to explore and try to reconnect a disconnected family. It all came out of an old-fashioned way of living and dealing with life that younger generations wanted to consider shameful. How to use a pantry on the fly to promote security, as well as challenging and engaging all participants in physical, mental, and emotional contributions to reestablish strong family communal roots for positive experiences for all participants. Those are some of the lessons I learned at an early age about preparedness and self-sufficiency. It also incorporates the emotional and mental ability to draw a line in the sand that can be continually smudged by the wind or chiseling the line in the rock, sometimes as big as the Grand Canyon. I was taught Jesus said you can give some people grace and they will accept with a line in the sand, but others you have to enforce by the line and rock. I have personally seen both concepts in real life between my own family and that in my extended married family. God's truths are sometimes hard to acknowledge for some. I am just trying to offer some different mental and emotional facets of preparedness that I don't often hear talked about, but I believe are real components based on my personal experience and observations. That was excellent and very well said, and I highly agree. There is so much more than just the physical attributes, that pantry full of food, or the ability to have ways to light when the power goes out, having wood stoves and so on to cook on when there is no power. It goes far beyond that. It's about our skills. It is about our ability to treat others with kindness and respect when we're going through difficult situations. Because we got to remember, those stressful times can often bring out the worst in each other. But when we're thinking on our feet, we can make it work regardless of political opinions, our beliefs about God, or whether or not He even exists. We can still work together and make a good community with our families and friends and those that are around us that we may need to help in a hard crisis situation, and pull together and work together. So anyway, thank you for the person who sent that in. And again, if you would like to send in your own personal testimony to raincountryhomestead@gmail.com, make sure that you put on there Preparedness Testimony so I know which folder to drop it in. And don't forget to check out the link to the full playlist I'll be putting in the description box down below. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.